welcome back to It's Time Picks. We have UFC Fight Night, Luque versus Dos Anjos. And, we are back up to 13 fights, with two of them being added kind of last second after some pullouts. One of the pullouts was Brady Highstand against Blackshear, which I was kind of upset about. I just like the kid. And then the other one was Gaston Bolaños, who pulled out against Marcus McGee. And what's his name is taking that fight?
JP buys.
JP Bays. So overall, the card's pretty good. Joey, if you don't got anything else, we'll just get right into it.
Let's knock her out the park.
All righty. So first up, we have Juliana Miller and Luana Santos. I am not super excited for this fight, mainly because both of them are still really green in their UFC careers, and Miller has absolutely shown that after her last fight when she lost Macedo.
No, Veronica Hardy.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, Hardy. Hardy was coming back after how long was it?
Like 2 years absent.
I think it was 3 years.
3.
Um, yeah, and Miller just looked completely overmatched against Hardy, and that was after dominating Brogan Walker in her first fight. So it's tough to say, how she's gonna come out, how she's gonna look. Luana Santos is making her debut. She looks really solid all around. She's got a really good ground game, and that's kind of where I'm expecting this fight to take place. I've got Santos. I have Santos by submission, but this fight could be really close, and it could be a really dull, boring decision too.
That's how I pretty much wrote it down for myself. I'm on Santos, but this is a lower level female fight. Miller is tough, even though she was getting her ass handed to her by Hardy. She never gave up. She kept going forward. Santos, I would say she is the more credential in MMA. She does have a black belt in judo. She is good in jiu-jitsu. This is all going to determine if her judo doesn't get going. There's a chance if her judo throws miss, Miller could jump back. But I don't know what I'm gonna do for potential DFS, but I am on Santos. Either Santos could cruise to take down, repeat, because Miller does get up, and then at 8,300 she could smash that price. Or as you said, if it's a dull fight, it wouldn't shock me if it's a bougie, stupid, boring 15-minute rangy striking fight, since they're in this small Apex arena. So yeah, I'm leaning Santos, but right now I'm not doing anything for that fight.
That's fair. So both of us going on Luana Santos.
Yep.
Next up, we have Damone Blackshear taking on Jose Johnson, who will finally get to make his UFC debut after 2 canceled fights. Joey, how you feeling about this one?
The crazy thing is, as you said, 2 canceled fights, and then he got cut, and then now he's back in his second stint, finally making his debut. I like Blackshear in this fight a lot, and I was hoping he was going to get an opponent, but when I'm looking at Johnson, yes, he is dangerous on the feet. He does have crafty strikes, but his takedown defense ain't up to par yet. And Damon, even in all 3 his, 1 win, 1 loss, 1 draw, he showed how tough he is. He almost caught Basher out late while he was getting dominated, and he damn near almost finished Basher out in that submission. And what he do against Lazardo his last fight, he won the striking and he did whatever he wanted on the ground. And that's how I kind of see that fight repeating. I see him closing the distance on Johnson, getting takedowns, and potentially finishing. Even if he doesn't finish 8,600, he take down and repeats Johnson on short notice. I think he's going to absolutely cruise to 8,600.
Yep, and I am right there with you. I completely agree. Johnson, he pulled out of his last field with Garrett Ironfield because of a medical injury. Before that, he had just withdrawn. Like you said, he got cut. Now he's back. Not really sure what he's been doing since that time, but he has not fought since August of 2022. So going on about a year. Blackshear's been pretty active. Blackshear showed in his last fight that he definitely has the striking to stay in the UFC. I was against him last fight. I had Sarah, and I was super impressed with how Blackshear came out and dominated that fight. I completely expect him to do it again in this one, especially once it hits the mat. This fight's going to be over. Yeah. Jose Johnson's not going to have the grappling to keep up with Blackshear. So, yep, I'm all over Blackshear. He's one of my favorite picks, and at 8,600, he's a steal. So, Both of us going with Damone Blackshear next year. Next up, we have Montserrat Ruiz and Jake Quellen.
Quali.
Amber, Jacqueline Amarim. Um, I love watching Montserrat Ruiz fight. She's 5 foot, just a little tiger. She's just an animal anytime she enters the ring. Unfortunately, in this one, Amarim has like 7 or 8 inches reach advantage on her, so the striking is not going to go too well for Ruiz. And we've seen her get into the pocket before, where also just you know demolish people with strikes. Um, I don't think she's gonna be able to do that on this one. Amarin actually has a nice little sweeping leg kick, and if she uses it, she's gonna put Ruiz on the mat, and then it's gonna be a grappling fest where Amarin will probably submit her. Um, it is Amarin's debut, I believe.
Second fight.
Second fight. Okay, who was the
She
first
gassed
one?
out versus
Oh,
Sandy.
that's right. That's right. She was against Hughes. Yeah. Hopefully she fixed that cardio issue because I mean, if this enters the third round and she's got that cardio issue, I could see Ruiz putting her away. But I do think Amarim gets it done within the first 2 rounds by submission.
So how I pretty much wrote this stuff up was oh, there it goes. I think if it gets out of round one and Ruiz is live, she is a good wrestler. People are saying, oh, but she got caught up by Amanda Lemos 2 years ago. Look at what Amanda Lemos is doing now. She's fighting for a title. She already ruined one debut before when she beat Vilmas, absolutely ragdolled her into wrestling. In this matchup, I actually talked to a wrestling coach that I know, and he said the only thing that he doesn't like about Montserrat Ruiz is she goes for too much of the head grabs and tries to force you down that way, which that's not the best unless you're trying to look for a pin in wrestling terms and trying to score a quick, few points. If she messes that up and Akram jumps back quick, it's going to be a quick first round sub. But one thing I will say, if it gets out of round one and her cardio still looks like shit, Ruiz turns into one of the most livest dogs on the card. So if you're building a lineup and you need to go to a salary saver, I don't think Ruiz is a bad choice if you think she gets out of round one. I think maybe she could get her wrestling going because she is a strong little Mexican girl, man. But my pick as of right now is Amarim. But if I'm doing hand builds, I'll make it to a little bit of Ruiz.
I probably won't, only because there's other dogs that I like, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't agree that Ruiz makes a good dog play, especially as the fight goes on. So both of us in agreement. We're both going Amarim. Next up, we have a kind of a silly fight between Josh Parisian and Martin Boudet. Uh, I don't expect a gigantic score out of this one because I don't think that this fight uh, has a knockout or anything. But Joey, how you feeling about it?
I'll say this right now. If I knew Martin Bidet would use his actual wrestling like he did outside the UFC, he'd be my favorite play. Parisian's takedown defense is trash.
Yeah.
But, so far throughout his UFC, he wants to be a slow starter in round one and then pretty much want to be Ben Rockwell. Yeah. Just clench you up, hold you, win control time against the cage. I almost picked Parisian because of that style, but how I've always got taught in, breaking down fights, it takes two to tango. And Martin Bidet is not the tango type of guy. He wants to make the fight boring, hold you, outsize you. My slight lean is Boudet, but like I said, Parisian does throw volume for days, and at 7,400, he is a good finisher. If he does beat Boudet, I think Boudet's kind of overrated a little bit, in my opinion, but I'm slightly on Boudet. I'm not touching this fight. I had Boudet winning, but as I just said for Ruiz, if you really think Parisian can out volume him for three, what you've seen in previous fights when he does win, he does score well in decision points. Not a bad dart throw, but as a fight, I'm not touching this fight.
Prison's only gone over 100 strikes once in one, two, three decisions. The other two, he had less than 80 and less than 40. So I don't see that happening. Boudet throws more strikes per minute as well by almost a full strike. And everything that Parisian does, Boudet does better. So I do expect this to be a 15-minute kind of boring strike fest. Could we see, Parisian put down? Absolutely. Both they're heavyweights. Anything can happen with heavyweights. So, but yeah, I expect this to go a while. I don't expect a giant score, but I do think that Boudet just comes out, victorious again. what is he at? He's at 8,800. I don't
I'm not
really
touching
want to
that.
touch that. So, but pick wise, both of us going with Boudet. Next up, we have Francis Marshall and Isaac Dolgarian. And Francis Marshall pissed me off in his debut. He started
Second
one.
fight.
He started so slow in that fight, and then he kind of just looked like crap against Gomez. I don't expect the same thing in this one. He knows what he knows he has to get off to a different start. Isaac Dargarian is making his debut. He is 5-0 with 5 finishes, all of them in the first round. He's an extremely electrifying and dangerous fighter. That said, he has not fought the best competition. It is what it is. He is coming from a smaller promotion. So this will be a good test to see where he's at. I don't think he's going to be able to handle Marshall yet. Marshall is really crafty, especially if he fights the way that we know he can fight. If he comes out like he did in that debut, I wouldn't be surprised if Dalgarian catches him. I really wouldn't. But I do expect Marshall to be the better guy in this one and come out on top.
So in the first fight, his debut, he fought Marcelo Rojo. He kept it in. He was letting Rojo touch him up a little bit, but then second round, he got the finish. Gomez, he was the most gun shy I've ever seen.
Yep.
He was just letting Gomez use his outside jabs, kicks. I'll say this fight is a GPP fight because, and I do, what's it called? Yeah, Isaac. I do describe him almost as a boomer bust, almost like a Terrence McKinney, but at a long money. If he does, the only thing about Marshall I don't like, is he the best striker? No, but is he capable? Yes. Same thing with wrestling. Is he a good wrestler? Is he capable? Yes. I do give Marshall the better striking advantage, but Isaac, he does have wrestling credentials. He is going to be the better wrestler in this fight, and I'm leaning the dog until I just don't like how patient Marshall was that last fight. And if he really tries to be patient in this fight, there's a good chance he's going to get slapped. He might get hit, rocked. Isaac might get on top, throw some ground and pound, and get a first round finish and score over 100 points. So my pick, I'm going Isaac.
Definitely kind of risky considering.
I just don't like how flat-footed Marshall looked that last fight. That drew me off.
That's fair.
Even though I think I don't know if I picked Marshall Gomez that fight. I know I had a bet on Gomez, but besides, yay!
All right, so there's the first split. I got Marshall, you've got Delgarian. Next up, we have T-Rex, McKinney, and Mike Breeden. Terrence McKinney is taking this fight on short notice after getting submitted a month ago. You've got to think that McKinney is extremely frustrated with how he's been fighting because he started off so hot in the UFC. I think it was 3-0, 4-0, one of those two. And then he fought some tougher competition and he found out that his chin sucks.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, right. But he gets Mike Breeden. Mike Breeden is not a world-class fighter. He's lost 2 in a row. He's largely dependent on his striking. Striking's not the best in the world, but it is crisp. He can catch McKinney. There's no doubt about it. We've already seen that McKinney has I don't want to say like a weak chin because the guys that he fought had a lot of power, but it's questionable. That said, I've got McKinney in this one. I actually love McKinney, even at 9,200.
I think so. Yeah.
And the biggest reason why is Breeden has no ground game at all. And I swear to God, if McKinney comes out and tries to strike with him, I don't care if he gets knocked out. McKinney needs to get in. He needs to take this to the mat and he needs to just get this over with fast because that's how it would be. He could drop him and submit him in the first round. So that's what I'm going with. That's what his game plan should be. If he wants to come out and strike, it's probably his funeral.
I'm also on McKinney, but I know McKinney's also in a new gym now. He does train with Kevin Holland and them, so he's getting good reps and good rounds. If I'm McKinney, like I said, I do think if McKinney wins, he's going to win inside the distance, probably within the first 5 to 7 minutes. But one thing, if I'm also taking a look at it, you look what Natan Levy did to Breeden. Levy, yes, he's a good wrestler, but I think credential-wise, McKinney's the better wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
Levy had 9 takedowns on Breeden. Well, don't get me wrong, Breeden is, for the most part, before running into Hernandez, getting finished, he was tough against Levy. Could he maybe do that potentially? But maybe. But if McKinney's going to win this, he's going to win within the first 2 rounds. If not, who knows what his cardio is going to look like on short notice. But I do like McKinney a lot. And, the people might, this 9K range, he might be a little bit of leverage because everyone's going to get to McGee, Frem, and everyone else in the higher 9Ks. But McKinney does have potential to absolutely smash 9,200.
Absolutely. So both of us in agreement again back on Terrence McKinney. Next up, we have Marcus McGee and JP Bays. And I will let you take this one first because I have something to say about it.
Oh shit. Well, I have a feeling that we're gonna say something similar-ish, but one thing about McGee, he looked very impressive his debut. Short notice. He did whatever he wanted to Journey Newsom. Then he actually got his first submission win in his career against Journey, which I give credit for that because Journey, for the most part, he's durable. He's not bad, but he's not great either. Bays, for the most part, he's been fighting some tougher comp in the UFC. He fought Montel, got absolutely ragdolled. But one thing I'll say about it, he is still a good wrestler. He is still a good grappler. And he was able to get Montel down with no sort of an issue. And Montel's a big 35er. Could he have a chance to take McGee down if McGee doesn't lane clean the first shot? Yeah. Outside the UFC, McGee shown his takedown defense. It still needs to be worked on some. So I'm still going McGee, but say this right now, if Baez can just stick to a grappling heavy game plan, he can make this fight a lot closer than it should be. Even though I do prefer him at 125, he took this fight short notice. Now he's at 135. I almost wanted to go Baez on here on some real crazy shit, but I'm going McGee. I think, eventually he'll catch him on the chin, get a TKO, but I'm not going to be on high as McGee as everyone else is, but I still think he wins.
All right. So the thing that I wanted to say right away is I had McGee in that debut.
Yes, you did.
So I am absolutely all over him again until JP Bay shows me something. I'm just not going to be worth it. He's already lost 3 in a row. He's going to get his walking papers after this fight. I don't remember where Marcus McGee was training before this, but I know that now
I know
he is. Where was he?
He was once at the same camp as O'Malley.
Okay, so he still is at.
Yes.
So he's still at the same one. So yeah,
Mhm.
he is at. I wasn't sure how long he was there prior to his first fight, but he is at the MMA lab with O'Malley and Cannonier, Mario Bautista, all those guys. So, I mean, he's got a really freaking good gym. They have a lot of really good coaches there too. So I can't imagine that they haven't been working on his takedown defense or anything else. I mean, we saw him get his first submission win. Maybe he's got more of that in his back pocket. It's really hard to say because when he came in, he was relatively unknown. So yeah, but I'm all over him. At 9,600, I don't really want to try to get to that. He's not the biggest name in the world, so there's a huge risk doing that. I'd much rather go for Fremd at 9,400. But in GPP contests, it's definitely worth it because Bays has just been shit on in every fight. And if this goes 4 minutes or less than 60 seconds into that first round, we could see McGee eclipse 100.
That was my one worry because if Baez doesn't get the takedown early, I think McGee is live within the first minute to absolutely let his hands go.
Yeah.
That's my only concern. But I usually don't try to pay up for 96 because it's hard to get your lineup fully together. But especially on this card with all the 9K options, you got to try to get away from some leverage spots.
Yeah. So both of us going with Marcus McGee. Next up, we got Josh Fremd and Jamie Pickett. And Jamie Pickett is just not good, unfortunately, for him.
2-5.
He has lost 3 in a row. He's another guy who will likely be handed his walking papers with another loss. And he draws Josh Fremd, who finally got his first win in the UFC after 2 consecutive losses to start.
Yep.
Granted, they were against relatively good competition. I mean, I won't say Trayshawn's great. You will.
Great, but
then he fought a very hesitant Dumas, and I think Fremd really needed that to get his game going because Fremd is actually a really talented fighter. He's got a really good resume. If you go look at where he was fighting prior to this, with he started with Bellator, I think,
early, and then I think he went to LFA.
Yeah, and if for those that don't know, for the people that aren't super into this, LFA is probably one of the closest equivalents to the UFC that we can get. So pretty much any fighter that's coming over from the LFA is they're consider him UFC ready. That's just a good way to look about it. But Fremd in this one, he should have the advantage everywhere. Pickett's got a reach advantage, I think, by an inch or two, but
He
Pickett
does.
hasn't shown me anything that he can do. He could, I mean, could he snatch his neck here? Yeah, absolutely. But I don't think that he does. I think Fremd comes in, just completely dominates him.
So as I said, getting late for some leverage from McGee. I love Frem in this fight.
Yep.
I didn't pick him his last fight versus Gore, because I'm a Gore fan. But he was looking decently against Gore until he shot an ugly shot, and Gore locked the tightest headlock I've ever seen in my damn life. And you saw what happened. But he did rebound huge against Dumas, which unfortunately I did have Dumas in that fight, and Frem made everyone look stupid.
Yep, sure did.
And this fight right here, I see the same thing. I see Frank coming in. I tell you I wouldn't be mad if he gets an early finish. I think he pays it off. 3 rounds of takedown, repeat, control. He can cruise that way. Almost any type of win for Frem, as long as it's not no stupid shit, he should have no problem paying off 94.
Absolutely. All right, both of us going with Josh Fremd. It is one of our favorite picks on the card. Next up, we have Tayfun Nchukwi and AJ Dobson. And we talked a little bit about it to begin to start the week, but where are you at?
This is one of my, I don't really try to make too many bold predictions, but either two things could happen in this fight. The way Nchukwi does fight, first off, I don't know how he's going to make 185, because I remember before he had an issue making 185. Then when he got to 205, he fought the real power guys, and his chin got tested. The last 2 fights. Alberg chin checked the shit out of him, and then he was actually winning the fight against who's the dude that just beat Justin Jacoby? The one that the short little ball guy that should be like 185er.
John Young Park? No.
No, who the hell did he freaking lose to? Mirzakhanov.
Yeah, as a Matt Mirzakhanov.
Tufan was winning that fight until he wasn't in the 3rd round. So 2 things that happened. I think Nchukwi is going to be the stronger guy at 185, but Dobson got some fast freaking hands. And if I'm him in this fight, I'm looking at what Olberg did. I am bull rushing the shit out of Tufan. I'm letting my hands go. He trains at a good gym. He has some decent wrestling. He trains with Mark Coleman. I'm on AJ Dobson. I think there's a chance he could knock him out in round 1. That's what the goal is. Because to me, I think he's finish dependent. Because 5 of his 6 wins are by finish. So if he's going to pay off even at 78, I think he's going to need a finish. If you're telling me it goes 15, I don't see this fight being a bust at 15 minutes. Both guys are going to have their moments. But I'm picking AJ.
Yep, I was already on Dobson, as I told you. I think Dobson is the better overall fighter. We just haven't been able to see it yet because of his 2 losses.
They're not bad losses.
No, not God, no. They're not against weak competition. They're against
short notice against Malkoon. Okay, he got wrestled the entire time.
Yep.
Then he got stuck behind the punch of Armin. What's his name? Petrosian, who's a good kickboxer.
Yep.
So styles make fights.
It should be a really good fight. It's a really good clash. You'll have to pay attention to weigh-ins to see how Nchukwi comes out.
And just know this style, they are in the Apex again, smaller.
Yep.
Dobson, both of these guys came from the Contender Series, so they have a little bit of experience in the smaller cage. And hey, maybe him coming back to the Apex, Dobson can finally let his hands go.
I think he does.
And get a finish.
Absolutely. So both of us going with the dog, AJ Dobson. Next up, we got Polyana Viana. We got my girl back in the card. And then Yasmin Lucindo. And I kind of got irritated with this fight when the MMA odds came out and everything because Lucindo's the favorite. Lucindo should not be the favorite. I'm sorry. Polyana Viana is better everywhere in this game. She's fought better competition. She's got the striking. She's already shown it off. And she's by far the better grappler in this fight. So I've got Polyana Viana by submission.
So this is going to be a style of striker versus grappler. If it can stay on the feet for 15 minutes, I think Lucindo maybe is the faster striker per se, but as Polyana, she's still a capable striker. She's growing in her striking in every fight she's been in the UFC. Her wins ain't impressive necessarily. Jinju Fry, yet she let her hands go, knocked her out within the first 30 seconds. That's good. Mallory Martin, Whitmire. and then some Chinese woman. I don't know who the hell that was, but to me, none of them were capable. She lost to Aldridge, Cyphers early, but that Richie loss is not a bad loss for her. Richie, look at what she's doing now.
Yeah, Baby Shark, she's killing it.
Um, if like I said, this is she might be one of the more popular dogs people are going to try to get to in this fight.
I don't know because a lot of people that I've talked to are on
Yeah,
Lucinda, and they said that because she looks so good against Brogan Walker, they think that she's gonna be able to do the same thing. I said,
no,
Brogan Walker is one of the greenest and not experienced fighters in the UFC. What are you talking about? And I got into an argument with him, and yeah, I just think they're dumb.
I think the odds should be way higher. Nothing against Lucindo. Yes, she's going back down to 115 where she belongs. And she did have a good first fight on short notice. Versus Yasmin, whatever the hell her name is.
Yeah,
Yasmin,
Yao Gui, Yao
yeah, whatever
Gui.
the hell. The girl that just got knocked out badly.
Yeah,
Um, I I'm torn on this fight. Honestly, this was one of the ones I circled. Like, am I paying 8,700 for Yasmin? No. There's no chance in a prayer of hell. So with that, me saying that, I'm gonna go Polyana Viana. But one thing I will say is I haven't gotten none of her fights right. When
I
I
have.
pick her, she tends to lose. When I pick against her, she scores over
No, well
100
then
points.
then go with Lucindo.
No. Look, because I said this clash styles. If it stays standing, I think this fight's a bust, potentially.
I
But if
think this
at
is one of
any
those
point, if
fights.
Viana gets her back or on the ground, there's something called levels, and Piana Viana is a very good grappler, and she can snatch something up.
You know, I think Lucindo is going to make a mistake and she's going to take her down and then she's going to get submitted.
That was my one worry because, 2 out of her 5 losses are by sub. So and she's very green. She's not a bad fighter. She's green. She has decent experience. She has 19 fights, and I don't think she's over 23 yet or 24. So that's still good, but
Lucindo's 21.
Rosendo's 21. Holy shit. But yeah, so she has experience at her age. But like I said, to me on paper, I know Yasmin's good, but this is probably one of the most killer fighters she's going to go against right now. Could she win a decision? Yeah, I think that's how she could win it. But I want to go for the more dangerous fighter here, who's slightly looking more better and better and more improved. Letting her hands go to set up and get close. So yeah, I'm gonna go Polyana.
I like it. You got to remember that Viana trains with Tiago Santos in that gym, so
Yep.
she's getting a lot of really good reps out there. I'm not really sure who Lucindo's with, actually, to be honest.
Last time I saw, it was like not really the best gyms.
If she's still with the same one, she's not. It's still we'll call it a baby gym.
Yeah.
All right, both of us going with the dog, Polyana Viana. Next up, we have Khalil Roundtree and Chris Dawkins. And I told you how I felt about this fight, and I'm going to make it known. I already made it known in my article, and I'll make it known again here. I was on Khalil Roundtree to start because Dawkins has been knocked out 3 times in a row. And then I dug a little deeper, and this is what I told you. Dawkins was knocked out 3 times in a row against Derek Lewis, Curtis Blades, and Rosenstruck. That's 3 guys that have been or are in the top 5. That says quite a bit. To me, it just says that Dawkins wasn't ready for the top because he was dominating the division until
Everyone
he
else.
got to those fights. I don't think Roundtree is that great of a fighter. He lost to Kutalaba Pratnio. Then he blew out Bukauskas' knee, which was just a
Ugh.
horrible. He beat Carl Roberson. Okay, Roberson's whatever.
He didn't
And
beat Jacoby. That was horseshit.
he did not beat exactly. He did not beat
No.
Jacoby. That fight was fucking dumb. They got that completely and horribly wrong. And so does he have power? Absolutely. Roundtree, it's kind of what he's known for is his power. But Dawkins also has power. He showed it in his first 4 fights. He's got incredible power and speed. And if Roundtree, okay, this is how I see this. It's going to be the first round. Someone's going to get knocked out. One of them's going to make a mistake. Who's going to capitalize? And that's really what it comes down to. For me,
Yep.
I've taken Dawkins in every fight that he's been in the UFC, including all 3 of those losses. I'm going to take him again. I'm going to continue to roll with him because I do think he's a better fighter than what we've seen. And I do think at some point he needs to get back on track. And I think that's here.
I want to go I do want to back up my Philly guy in Dawkins, but the only thing I'll say about when it comes to stylistic match, the only one I didn't like necessarily was the Curtis Blades knockout. Because yes, Blades' hands have gotten better, but Blades was touching him up so bad. And
Well,
I didn't
again,
like
with Blades, you also have to worry about, okay, he's probably going to come and take me down, and all of a sudden he throws hands. It's like, oh shit, my game plan just went out the door.
but the only thing I'll say about Roundtree, if you're talking about fluent striking, Dawkins is the better pure inside boxer. Yes, I'll give him credit for that.
Absolutely.
Roundtree, when he actually lets his hands go, he is the more dangerous striker. He throws power hands, throws a lot of kicks, throws weird kicks to your damn knee, shin. He throws different angle shit. Depends on which Roundtree we get. If we get the Roundtree of I'm letting my hands fly, there is if I had to go about 0 through 10, I think there's a 20% chance that someone in this fight can get finished within the first 60 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm really thinking. I think there's a chance that one of them let their hands go, someone's getting finished within 60.
Absolutely.
I'm on Khalil. Like, I just think he's the more dangerous striker. Roundtree, he's going to show, like, look, I am a 3-fight win streak, but you didn't beat Jacoby. I'm going to keep saying that, even though I had a bet on Roundtree to win, but I didn't think I won that. I think there's a chance Roundtree smooths Chris Dawkins. If you told me if Dawkins would actually go back to some of his ground game they showed outside the UFC and use his black belt, I can't watch one fight. I haven't seen him use his black belt yet.
Can I change your mind real quick?
Okay, go ahead.
You're gonna want to change after this, just so you know.
He has no submission wins with his black belt.
Ignore that. Neither one of these guys are going to be doing anything on the ground. I don't know if you overlooked it or if you know it and you just don't want to say it.
What?
This fight's at 205.
Yeah, he's making his 205 debut. So
And he was already fast as a heavyweight. And when he went into those 3 fights as a heavyweight, he also only weighed in at about 240.
I know.
He is going to be fucking huge at 205, and he's still going to be fast.
It's hard to try. Look, if you want to go by pure power, if you want to put the power category, Lewis, Rosenstrike, and then now you're doing this fight, I think Cleo, he has heavyweight power, but he fights at 205. If he wanted to bulk up 20 pounds, he could still throw power with heavyweights. Was it going to be best success? Probably not, because I think there's times where he can get chinny a little bit. But I'm just going Roundtree until Dawkins shows it to me. And I'm a Philly guy. I love Dawkins. I'm just prove it to me until I can back you up again. But I think you're definitely going to pick your side.
This is a fight where you also need to pay attention to the weigh-ins. It is his first one at 5, and at some point, Roundtree might become like William Knight, where he just can't hit weight. So,
if if Roundtree does something similar to what William Knight did against Pragnell, then Dawkins is going to light him up like a Christmas tree, and it's going to get ugly. But yeah, I don't see that.
All right, so we are split on this one. I've got the dog and Dawkins, and you've got Roundtree. Next up, we have Cub Swanson and Hakeem Dawodu. And you get to take this one first.
I'm not going to call him overrated because I don't think he's overrated, but if he would actually let his hands fly a lot more, I think he could be ranked in top 15 because he got some fast hands. He has good kicks. And outside the UFC, he was a good finisher. He has one UFC finish. He's going to decision, split decision. I'm on Hakeem because I think Swanson has slowed down a lot. But if you're telling me this was Cub Swanson from like 2, 3, 4 years ago, I would have picked Cub because he is the more well-rounded guy. But Cubs just get, nowadays he's like, look, just give me a check, give me a fight. I'm going to throw hands on somebody, and if I lose, I lose. I usually like to fade Hakeem, but he might be someone at very, very low ownership with how bad that Swanson has been getting caught lately, especially in the Jonathan Martinez fight. I think there's a chance maybe Hakeem can get his second finish in the UFC, maybe late. But for now, I'm just picking Hakeem. But like I said, you might get some serious leverage if you think Hakeem can go in there within the first 2 rounds and take out Cub. But I'm going Hakeem just for the pick.
I have Hakeem as well, but I think it's actually kind of funny how the first thing that you said, and my article's not posted yet. It's sitting and waiting to be edited. Yeah. But I'm gonna go down and read what I wrote because it's kind of what you said. It's fun. So I said I kind of expected it to be a close fight. Swanson's nearing 40, and he does still have a ton of power in his hands, but I literally said, but the rest of his game has been slowly declining, and he's slowed down. He actually, I think he will still have a wrestling advantage if he goes to it, but I don't think that we'll see that.
Yeah.
This for me was the hardest fight to pick,
Yep.
simply because I don't trust Dewodu at all. Like you said, he just doesn't. He doesn't let it go. He doesn't, he doesn't leave it all out there. And I wish that he would, because we could see some really exciting fights come out of him. I think he's just so afraid to get hurt.
Good.
But yeah, I'm going with Dewodu as well. It's not my favorite fight to go with, but this could be the fight that surprises us in GPP. So
Yep.
you never know. So both of us going with Duodu. Next up, we have the main event with Vicente Luque and Rafael dos Anjos. This fight should be really, really fucking good. I expect this to go 5 rounds. I don't think that there'll be a finish. Both of these guys are as tough as they come. RDA has revived his career a bit, matter of factly. He looked really good against Barberena. That's not really saying a whole lot. Nothing against Barberena. He's just kind of a punching bag. And he looked amazing against Moicano. Faisiev is now a really, really good loss because Faisiev hung in there with Justin Gaethje as a top 5 fighter. And then you go over to Luque, who has lost 2 in a row against Bilal Muhammad and Jeff Neal, which that was Jeff Neal's best fight he's ever had.
Even in a loss, he still looked good against Rakhmonov, though. That was a hell of a brawl, too.
That was really, really good. But yeah, I mean, I think Luque is the more dangerous fighter. If this was going to be 25 minutes of pure striking, I might lean RDA just because his striking is a tad cleaner. RDA could go for takedowns. I think he wouldn't be smart to because Luque is the better grappler. This is going to be a really close fight. This is one of those fights where it's kind of like pick your poison and hope they go, because it's going to be that tight. I don't expect one to take off more than the other. I think it's going to be really close to like a 3-2 type of split decision. But I'm on Luque. I think that he gets back in the win column here, but would it surprise me if RDA won? Absolutely not.
So that's how I pretty much broke it down. I pretty much said pick your side. Yes, RDA does have striking, but I do prefer Luque on the feet. No, he's gonna have a big reach. He's gonna have like a 6-7 inch reach in this fight. So he could use his 1-2s and keep RDA at range. I do prefer RDA at 155. He's getting up there in age. He's almost 40. And usually when you're getting up, I have a hard time usually picking people over 36, 37, unless it's 2 guys that's around the same age. But only thing I'm worried about is like that beating he took from Neal. Apparently, they said he had some brain bleeding of a sort after that fight, and I'm shocked he didn't retire after that personally. But I guess he's all medically good and cleared. And like I said, I'm also going to watch weigh-ins. I want to see how weigh-ins looks for him at least.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, but he should never miss his weight. I'm like, I just want to see how he looks because, like I said, coming back from that, I'm no doctor, but if I would have heard somebody say my brain was bleeding, yeah, I probably would have retired.
I think I don't think it's as bad as we hear brain bleed and we're like, oh my God, that sounds horrible. But it's, obviously if he's still fighting, it wasn't that bad. And if the doctor medically cleared him, it's obviously not that bad.
Yeah.
So
that's why I took a little bit of a layoff after Neal. He's like, okay, let me get my shit together. And he's not a bad fighter.
He's still 31. He's got 31 fights under at 31. I think he's going to I think he's going to be back to normal here. I really do. I don't think, let me put it this way. I don't think RDA has anything that can seriously threaten. Okay. No. Is that fair to say?
Yes. I'm not mad about that. But I'm on Luque. I'm on Luque though.
Good.
I usually don't pick against Luque. I think I picked Neal that one fight, but I'm also a Neal fan. But
yeah.
Besides that, I think Luque does get back on here. He's still young. I know after 2 losses, people say, oh, you use 2 losses. You're not really on your road of a prime. I think Luque can still get back into a prime at 31. I think he needs to rack up some wins before, getting back into the top 5 for matchups. But I like Luque. Like me personally, if Luque wasn't fighting this fight, I would love to see him and Ian Gary, which Ian Gary does have an opponent now.
Oh, does he? I didn't see who.
Neil Magny.
Oh, come on, really?
They're going to ask him for that fight. He asked for a gatekeeper fight. He got his gatekeeper fight.
Yeah, he's getting it. He's going to fucking smash him. Magny is literally just he's more than a gatekeeper now. He's literally just a fucking dome keeper now. He just keeps getting fucking walloped. And now he's gonna go against Gary. Come on.
I'll say this
Whatever.
right now. I know how you're like, are you really gonna pick Gary? I'm not Gary. You're really gonna pick Nagy? No, I'm not. Not that.
Yeah.
Not like no,
You
no, no,
can't
no,
in this one.
no. No,
I'd
I
have to
can't
flip
that
the
one. Like,
jersey and smack you.
no, I can't do that. But when that fight does happen, it's gonna happen. But yeah, I saw that this morning, and I was like, damn.
All right. Well, both of us going with Luque. I'm going to tell you right now, my lock of the card, I'm going back to the well. I'm going to lock in Terrence McKinney. My favorite dog is going to be Dawkins because I think that if he wins, he's just going to break the slate. You going to
Uh,
lock in Fremd?
I don't really like to try to lock in someone that high, but
Uh,
um, let me see. Let me see. Okay, I'll start with my dog. I'm no, honestly, I'm kind of shocked you didn't lock in Paul Viana as your dog because that's your girl. But
I left it for you in case you wanted
no,
to.
I'm going AJ. I think I'm not trying to make a comparison, so I'm gonna say this: there's a chance, and before I do say this, RIP legend. I think there's a chance AJ Thompson could go in here and have a mini Rumble Johnson moment on Stefan. Bull
Oh,
rushed him, let his hands fly, and finish the fight within the first 2 minutes.
I hope it does. That's what I have. So I'm good.
Okay, that's my dog lock. I was gonna say Luque, but that's an 82, 80, 80.2, 8K. I'm not gonna touch
Just
that
lock
one.
in Fremd.
I almost locked in a Reem, but like I said, that she's first round or bust. Um, yeah, I'm not really gonna be like that guy. Yeah,
Or
I'll
you
be
can do
Fred.
Black Shooter.
Yeah, I do like Blackshear. I think Blackshear could cruise. I almost did pick Frem. I totally forgot Blackshear's on the card.
Yeah,
I think Blackshear. I think he's gonna absolutely run through Johnson.
I do too, 100%. So
My
perfect.
lock 8 points. I think
Uh,
8.6K. Can't get mad about that.
no, definitely not. So that wraps up the UFC Vegas 78 card. There is one more thing that I want to do before we get off of here, and this is going to kind of extend the card a little bit. I don't know how much you've looked at it, but
Huh.
would you be able to look at UFC 292 next week and make picks right off the top of your head?
Okay, let me load on my phone real quick and see who's actually on this freaking card. I don't even know everyone, but I'll make the picks on the spot.
So
And
I
if anything changes, I'm saying
that's
change.
as long as it's before the fight.
Yes. Okay.
I leave for a cruise. I will be gone until the 20th, so we will not be doing a show next week unless I did it from the cruise. That'd be kind of
I
fun.
wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
Um, so yeah, but I've already written my article for this one, so I already have all my stuff done for it.
Damn, do you really?
Yeah, I had to.
How many fights? 10, wait, 10 fights?
I'm sure there'll be more added, and
I
actually,
hope
it's
so, but
one just got removed because that was the fight Neil pulled out of with Gary.
no, that's gonna fight. They're gonna be adding to
No, I
292.
know. So now it's back
They're gonna be
on, but
11.
now with Neil Magny.
Yeah, so they're gonna be 11 on that fight. Um, you're gonna know who Katona's opponent is on Tuesday, so we'll get back to that one. That's the last fight for the bantamweight Ultimate Fighter Redemption season. Um, but yeah, if you go start naming, I got the card right in front of me, so whatever you want to ask away.
Okay. Yeah, we're not going to do a full breakdown of it.
No, we're just gonna go pick by pick for
Just,
now.
just do the picks. The first fight up is one of the tournament fights: Kurt Hollabaugh and Austin Hubbard. I got Hollabaugh in this one. Hubbard just does not impress me as a fighter.
Oh, so I'm also on Kurt Hollowball because I'll tell you right now, if you watch his last fight with Jason Knight, whoo, those boys were letting it fly. But yeah, I'm on Kurt Hollowball. And even though he's older, he's 39. And don't get me wrong, could Hubbard try to mix it up a little bit, but Kurt Hollowball is well rounded. He has a good chin. He comes forward. Blah blah blah. I'm not gonna try to get into it.
Next fight is Andrea Lee and Natalia Silva. I have Natalia Silva all day.
Yeah, like I like Andrea Lee. She takes on everybody, but I think Natalia Silva inside the distance.
Next up, we have Marina Moroz and Kareem Killer Silva. I have Silva on this one. I fully expect her to just annihilate Rose.
All right, I'm gonna say this right now early. I'm not. I usually don't do parlays early, but Silva parlay.
I don't disagree with that at all. Next up, we got RoboCop and Dennis Tululin, Gregory Rodriguez versus Dennis Tululin. I have Rodriguez in this one. Tululin just does not have the same. It's not the same skill set. Not anywhere close.
I've gotten the Dennis Tulian fight right, but Rodriguez should get this. If Rodriguez is smart, he's gonna bull rush him, take him down,
Exactly. 100%.
and end up getting a first round submission.
Next fight we have Chris Weidman back on the card. Back in the world of the UFC, his leg is fully healed. He's going up against Brad Tavares. But I'm so sorry, Weidman, you're not winning this fight.
Look, I don't pick. I gotta go for my heart only. I'm going all heart. I'm going Weidman. I got to. I've been a Weidman guy since day one. I'm not backing off of it.
He hasn't fought in almost.
I do not care.
And he's going against Tavares.
I'm telling you, I think he can take down Tavares and make this a boring fight.
No, he's not going to take. No, you're out of your mind. Next up, we got Mearshart and our boy Andre Petrosky.
Do I really need to say it?
AP.
Look, I'm about to say, I actually got to go to a gym where he changed that. He got new shirts coming out. I got to grab me a shirt. But, yeah, I'm not picking against my boy Andre. And the crazy thing is, his teammate Joe Pfeiffer beat Gerald by knockout. And then just to show how better he is, he beat Mearshart in a grappling match. So, and Andre is the better grappler.
He's the better everything.
He's better everything. I can't bet against Andre.
Nope. So, next up we have the Magny Gary fight. That's Gary all day. Sorry, Magny.
I'm not.
So Marlon Cheeto Vera, and Pedro Munoz.
You ready?
I have Munoz. I already took him.
Fuck, that's what I was gonna say. Fuck. That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, potential fight of the night in this fight, though.
I do agree with that, and we'll do just a brief one on this one since we both went with probably a rather considerable dog. I don't know what the odds are for it. One, Vera starts too slow. Munoz has a shit ton of volume. Munoz does not really make mistakes, and Munoz does not really get finished. Those are three things that Vera capitalizes on, and I don't see how Vera wins this fight without it.
I agree.
Perfect. Next up, we got Cody Garbrandt and Mario Bautista.
That's gonna be fun.
Bautista all day.
I got Bautista, but I almost went pure heart and went Cody.
No, but okay, so he looked good, not really, in his last fight. So he had looked like shit. Everybody was talking crap about him. And he comes out and wins his last fight.
He went back to his wrestling.
It was a horrible fight. It was a terrible fight. There was no action. There was no nothing. It was the dumbest fight. It reminded me of Thug Rose and Esparza.
No, nothing that boring. Besides Francis and Eric, but
it was that boring. It was absolutely that boring. Garbrandt had 2 takedowns and 2 minutes of control time. That's it. And Trevin Jones
going back to his wrestling. He's going back to his wrestling roots.
That's it, though. It's not like we sat there and just watched him fucking play patty cake the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
So no thanks. I'm on Bautista all day. Bautista by submission. Goodbye, Garbrandt. Next up, we have a beast of a fight. We got Weili Zhang and Amanda Lemos. I've got Zhang all day.
None against Lemos. She does look like the woman from Storm from X-Men, but I think Weili's gonna let her shit fly in this fight.
I do too. I don't think Lemos is gonna have a chance.
No,
she's not gonna be able to do anything. And then my heart really, really hurts on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Sterling and O'Malley, and I hate saying it because I don't like him, but I have Sterling.
I'll tell you right now, I got Sterling, but I'll tell you right now, don't be shocked if I'm going to wear my O'Malley shirt during that fight. Because look, O'Malley's going to be live as long as the fight's on the feet. Could he hit him with a crazy knee, hit him with a crazy uppercut? Yes, but I saw the mini breakdown of Demetrius and Pseudo pretty much saying this. If O'Malley doesn't get him out early, they think he may get absolutely wrestle fucked and grappled.
It's
a potential boring fight. It could be a boring fight.
It's going to look like every current Sterling fight now. Like against
this fight, they said, could look very similar to how Sanhagen did the fight. It could be. It could be like Sterling could just be talking shit to him.
100%.
Yo, bro, where's your takedown defense? Yo, man, where's your get up game? Talking all that shit. Blah blah
Yeah.
blah. But yeah, I'm on Sterling.
Yeah. It hurts my heart.
Yeah,
I've taken him 2 fights in a row now.
I'm taking Sterling during this whole train ride.
All righty. So that's just kind of a quick pick, quit hit, for that card since we won't have one next week. And I kind of like doing it that way. Just because it was a title card, I felt like we just need to get those
Two
picks
title
on.
fights.
Yeah. So that wraps up this one. I'm really looking forward to that card. I mean, I
Mhm.
won't be here for it, but I'll be back in the States at least, so I'll be able to stream it.
Yep.
But alrighty, that wraps up this. And unless you got anything else to add, Joey.
No.
Alrighty. Well, as always, we appreciate you watching, and we'll be back in 2 weeks.